అందరికీ నమస్కారం. స్టూడెంట్ వీసాలు పొందడంలో తెలుగు రాష్ట్రాల విద్యార్థులకు ఎదురవుతున్న సందేహాలు, ఉపాధి అవకాశాల గురించి తెలుసుకోవాలనుకుంటున్న విషయాలు, ఉపాధి, ఉద్యోగాలు తదితర అంశాలపై హైదరాబాదులోని అమెరికా కాన్సులేట్ జనరల్తో కలిసి ఈటీవీ చర్చా కార్యక్రమం నిర్వహిస్తోంది. ముందుగా ఆంధ్ర యూనివర్సిటీ ఉపకులపతి అయినటువంటి ఆచార్య నాగేశ్వరరావు గారిని మాట్లాడవలసిందిగా కోరుతున్నాను.
We have a very good opportunity to interact with the US Consulate General at Hyderabad, because most of us are the aspirants to visit US for higher studies or for employment. While thinking about US, we may have some questions in our minds. We may have something to discuss with somebody. Instead of going all the way to Hyderabad or Chennai, personnel from US Consulate General at Hyderabad have come all the way to Visakhapatnam to help you understanding the issues related to obtaining visa, various prospects available at US in higher education or in the employment. You can feel free to discuss any of your issues with the personnel of this Consulate Journal so that you will be better to know about what is happening there, what are the opportunities you have, and how you can readily get your visa when you go to Hyderabad. Before it is being rejected, what steps must be taken so that whenever you approach the Consulate Journal, you'll get your visa. I wish you good luck, and I thank the personnel of US Consulate Journal to come all the way to Visakhapatnam to enlighten our students and to make them understand the realities in US, the how best we can help you, our students, in getting their visas. Thank you very much.
As Sir mentioned, we're all indeed fortunate to have the Consul General here with us, Mrs. Catherine Hudder. Ma'am, as I already mentioned, it's indeed a pleasure, and we really look forward to a few messages from you.
I just want to thank ETV and Andhra University for having all of us here today. This is my second trip to Vizag, which is just a beautiful city, so I'm delighted to be back. I'm sort of surprised at how nice the weather is. You know, I thought it would be all rainy and cloudy, but it's lovely, so thank you for arranging very nice weather also. Both ETV and Andhra University are very long and close partners of our consulate, and so we're delighted to be working with them and to be here today. I really am here to talk to you. You're going to hear a bit about what it's like in a U.S. school. You'll hear about how the kinds of information we can provide to help you choose the right school. You'll hear some information about our visa requirements. I'm really here to give you a big picture idea of why you would want to go and study in the United States in the first place. It's a long way away. You know, it takes a commitment. So why should you want to do that? So first I'll note that we have 4,500 accredited schools in the United States, and they offer top-notch education. And they can be range from very small institutions to pretty huge universities. So the choice is really very, very broad for you. Secondly, you know, why does one go to university at all? It's usually because you want to learn more skills to make you better in your career, to set you on a path of some kind in life. And then what happens a lot of times, fortunately, with our students, you know, they'll come back, let's say, to India and be leaders. They'll set up a business. They'll be leaders in their communities. So for many people, you know, when you attend a university and you really, it's a seminal point of your life. It's a point in your life where it will be unlike any other point in your life. You get to know yourself as a person. You get to think of new ways of seeing things. In fact, there's sort of a phrase that we use nowadays in the United States. You don't just go to learn at a university, you go to unlearn. You get to think of things in a new way. And in my opinion, and I think in the opinion of my colleagues, unfortunately we have 2 alumni, so we're honored to have you here. I think in many people's opinion, the United States offers a really unique environment for that journey. It's not just the high-class degree that you can get, the high-quality degree, the high-quality learning, the high-quality professors. It's a chance in our university settings, you really are encouraged to get to know your students, even if they're not studying the same thing you are. You are given the option of doing extracurricular activities that really might be related to what you're studying or might not be related, but it will be a broadening experience for you. The United States, I think, is unique in the high number of international students that we have. And at the moment, there are 166,000 Indian students studying at educational universities in the United States. So that's the second highest number from any single country other than China. But the thing is, the growth rate of Indian students who are studying in the United States is actually higher than the growth rate of Chinese students. So there are actually 66,000, of that 166,000 studying in the United States, 66,000, that increase came just over the last 2 years. So that just shows. And I don't think I really have to explain something else, which is that when you go to the United States, there's so much going on right now with the U.S.-India relationship. So in a way, you get to be ambassadors for your country, and there's a lot of interest in India right now, and we're just doing more and more, our 2 governments together, and all sorts of networks of people, not just government, but non-government institutions, educational institutions. So you're part of all that. And I don't think I really have to explain that much, because on my first visit to Andhra Pradesh, which was, I went to Vijayawada right when I arrived, just a few weeks after I arrived, and someone claimed to me, and I believe this, and I hear it from a lot of people, that 1 in 4 people in this state have some kind of family or some kind of connection to the United States. Does that sound right to you? So you understand, I think, the strong connections there. So what we have to offer you, and you'll see it today, is that we have Education USA, which helps prepare students for academic life in the United States, providing assistance on a variety of topics about what it's like to study in the States and what kinds of schools are available. We have 7 centers, but then they also travel a lot. They make a lot of effort to reach you. We have consular officers in Hyderabad and local staff who actually know more than a lot of us do, because they've been there a long time at our consulate. And they offer information online. How many of you, I'm just curious, has anyone ever looked at our Facebook page or our Twitter page? Okay, that's going to change after today. We'll make sure that we get you some information. We put a lot of information there about the United States, about what the consulate is doing, but we also put a lot of information about visas and about U.S. study, including links to other resources that you can find. So I hope you'll take advantage of that. In any case, our consular officers, besides adjudicating a lot of visas, which we issued 48,000 student visas last year, they really do take time to come around and travel around the 3 states of our district and speak at schools, just like they're doing today, to help explain the visa process to you. I did want to just, because we're friends, I did want to just say a word about some recent hate crimes in the United States that have affected Indians, including from our area here. And I just want to say that one crime like that is too many and shouldn't happen, and is deplored by the vast majority of Americans, and the president spoke out against it, and a lot of senior officials have spoken out against it. And so it's not the American way. We're a tolerant country. We're a diverse country. So what I want to say is that, you read what you read in the papers, but it's news because, in my opinion, it is unusual. The vast majority of people who study in the United States, campuses are very welcoming, diverse, safe places. Typically, the university security force has a very good working relationship with the local police. There's generally a guidance office for international students that will help you with any security concerns, but also just adapting to life in your new environment. So, and then I think it's safe to say that some schools you'll find a lot of international students, and they're going to be inclined to be interested in you. But I think you may also be surprised at how many American students will really be curious about where you came from, what your interests are, how you see our culture. They'll ask you questions about your culture, and that's part of the educational process too. So, in any case, I hope you'll give us serious consideration, and I hope you'll be free and open with all your questions with my colleagues here. And thank you again for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am, for that message of friendship. I really hope and wish that most of the students who are here and all the students who will be watching this telecasted throughout the state will benefit from the message. Thank you so much. ఇప్పుడు ఈ నిపుణులందరూ మన దగ్గర ఉన్నప్పుడు ఎవరికన్నా కానీ సందేహాలు, క్వశ్చన్స్ కానీ ఉంటే అక్కడికి వెళ్ళవచ్చు. వీసా విషయాలు కానీ ఏదైనా సరే ఇప్పుడు మీరు అడగవచ్చు. ఎనీ క్వశ్చన్స్ యూ కెన్ ప్లీజ్ రేజ్ యువర్ హ్యాండ్ అండ్ ఐ విల్ కాల్ యూ.
యూఎస్లో ఇండియన్స్ పరిస్థితి అని ఈ టైంలో మనం పేరెంట్స్కి ఎలాంటి హోప్ ఇవ్వగలం అంటే అక్కడికి వెళ్ళాక మనం సేఫ్గా ఉంటామని, ఎడ్యుకేషన్ పరంగా ద జాబ్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ అంటే మనం సేఫ్గా ఉంటామని వాళ్ళకి ఎలాగా రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ అంటే ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ ఏం ఇవ్వగలరు?
Right.
The United States universities, campuses are actually very safe places. There are enough security measures that have been put in place by the universities to keep students safe in terms of there are buses, internal buses which run from one building to another, and they run till almost in some places till 1 o'clock at night so that you have a bus service. There are also places where they organize an escort for you if you need to walk between one building to another and you're a little afraid it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you were doing research in a lab and now you want to go back, and then somebody will walk you down. There are also a lot of blue phone, they're called blue light phones, which are on campus, where they spread all over campus, and if you, God forbid, are being chased or anything and you pick up a phone and even drop it there will be a rescue team that will come to that spot and will look for you. And that's what the security measures that the university is setting up. Out in the city, you need to be as safe as you would be in any big city in India. I mean, whether it's New York, whether it's New Delhi, whether it is Bombay, one needs to be safe and be careful of not going into dark alleys at 3 o'clock in the night, right? So those are the security measures that there are in place in the US campuses.
Hi, namaskaram. Na peru William, nenu koncham Telugu matladutanu. Koncham. Preti roju nenu chala mukamuki chesanu Telugulo. Well, koncham Telugulo. Nice to meet all of you. I will be speaking English. I can try to speak a little bit of Telugu if you ask me a question. But for this one, I definitely want to speak English because I want to be able to answer it for you. So a lot of the measures that Pia spoke about definitely are true. I would also add that a lot of campuses have their own campus police force, campus police, which I think they're designed to both help students and make sure students don't get into trouble on campus. And it definitely, the security situation is going to depend on the school that you go to. Just as in India, different cities have different concerns, so too in the United States. So when you're looking at your schools, obviously you want to do some research to determine, well, what is that area like? What are the safety concerns that I might have? And then just while you're in the US, you just need to be responsible, obviously. But I think overall, it is a very safe place to study.
We also had some మనకు ఆల్రెడీ కూడా కొన్ని క్వశ్చన్స్ పిల్లలందరూ కూడా ఇచ్చున్నారు. ఆ క్వశ్చన్స్లో కొన్ని ఇప్పుడు నేను పేరు చదువుతాను, మీరు క్వశ్చన్ అడగచ్చు. మన దగ్గర ఒక నేపాల్ స్టూడెంట్ ఉన్నాడు, ఇండియా చదువుకుంటున్నాడు, బికాష్ అని చెప్పి. బికాష్, కెన్ వి హ్యావ్ ఏ క్వశ్చన్ ప్లీజ్?
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I am pursuing my BTech from Vignan College and I am from Nepal. So my question regarding to visa, that to apply for visa is similar to Indian student or it is different than Indian student?
I think that you can expect the process is going to be very similar, whether you're from India or you're from another country and you're studying in India. I'm not going to get into a large amount of detail on the process in terms of what we look for, but obviously we want to make sure that you're a credible student, that you're going to study in the U.S., that your financial system supports that you can support your own education. And we also do look at, well, what is the intent after the end of the program? And so for you, if you're a resident here and we have a reason to believe that you're going to return, then it's going to be the same concern as an Indian student.
And sir, what is the job opportunity after completion of my education? Is there any assurance about that or not? Because we are going for abroad study, so after that, after coming from there, we'll get actually in many countries they are asking about the equalization of certificate also. So that process is similar or not?
The process of applying for work authorization in the United States is not administered by the Department of State, so it's not really what I do. I mean, I know a little bit about it just as background. I worked for a number of years for the University of Michigan, a very large university in Michigan, and I actually worked in their international office, which are the ones that are sending you I-20s and saying, go apply for a visa. So I do have some background in that question, but it's generally, hopefully your international office is helping you. It's not a visa officer, it's someone on campus that's helping you with that process. You're preparing a packet of documents which you file basically a little bit before you graduate usually, and then it can take a couple of months before you actually get your work authorization. Obviously there can be problems, but you're working with the international office on that process.
Thank you,
can I have
sir.
Akram Ishaq, please? Ask the question.
My name is Akram Ishaq. I'm pursuing BTech in computer science. My question was, what are the emerging technologies for the engineering students of computer science having over there in US?
So,
what are the priorities we do Indians have there? What are the priorities we do Indians have there compared to US students? You know?
So, I work for the University of Southern California, the Viterbi School of Engineering. We are one of the top engineering schools in the US, and a lot of Indian students come and study over there. Computer science, your question was in computer science, what are the emerging markets? So nowadays, there's been so many areas, right? My dean likes to call it engineering plus. So everything, engineering is right at the center, and then you have social media. Facebook, is it a computer science kind of a company, or is it a social media company?
Social
right?
media.
In the same way, cancer genomics research, you need a lot of computers in that. So is that medicine or is that computer science? So computer science has become all-encompassing. There are faculty in material sciences who are trying to find new materials using computers, right? And of course, there's machine learning, there's artificial intelligence, all the traditional computer science areas as well. So computer science has companies that traditionally would not hire computer scientists now. Right? So that was the first part of your question. And the second part was, do Indian students have any particular advantage over American students? When you graduate and you're looking for a job, you are on the same playing field as all the students over there, right? Whoever's the best student, who is best qualified for that particular job, will get the job.
So along with the students, frankly, even I have some doubts, which I also received from some of the outside participants who wanted to know information. It is for Anirudh. Anirudh, మన వాళ్ళు అమెరికా వెళ్ళినప్పుడు చాలాసార్లు మన స్టూడెంట్స్ అందరూ కూడా మనలో మనమే గ్రూపులుగా తిరుగుతుంటాం ఎక్కువగా, రైట్? అంటే మన వాళ్ళందరూ కలిసి ఉండడము, అంటే ఎస్పెషల్లీ ఇండియన్స్ తెలుగు వాళ్ళు కలిసి ఉండడము, ఇలా ఉండడం వల్ల అక్కడ సమాజంతో మనం కలిసి ఉండడానికి ఏమైనా ఇబ్బంది కలుగుతుందా? దాని గురించి మీరేమంటారు మీ ఎక్స్పీరియన్సెస్ని బట్టి?
అందరికీ నమస్కారం. నేను ఏం చెప్దాం అనుకుంటున్నానంటే, ఇప్పుడు అందరూ కలిసి ఉండడం తప్పు లేదు, బట్ అందరూ వాళ్ళతోనే కలిసి ఉండడం ప్రతిసారి అది అంత మంచిది కాదు. ఎందుకంటే ఇప్పుడు మీరు అక్కడ జాబ్ కావాలి, మీకు అందరితోని ఫ్రెండ్స్ చేసుకోవాలి, మీకు ఎక్స్పీరియన్సెస్తో నేర్చుకోవాలి. అది చేయాలి అంటే మనం అందరితోని కలుస్తూ తిరగాలి. అది చేయడం వలన మనకి we'll be more open to new ideas and we can be more free in understanding the problems with everyone. And ఇప్పుడు నాకు ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్పాలంటే నాకు యుఎస్లో నేను సమ్మర్లో నాకు ఇంటర్న్షిప్ చేశాను. ఇంటర్న్షిప్ బాగా చేయడం వలన నాకు ఫుల్ టైం జాబ్ వచ్చింది కాలేజ్ అయిన తర్వాత. అది రావడానికి కారణం ఏంటంటే ఇప్పుడు క్లాస్లో మనం ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ చేసిన మనకి ఎలాంటి యాక్టివిటీస్ చేసినా మనం అందరితో కలిపి చేయాలి. మనకెప్పుడు మన టీంలో మనోళ్ళే ఉండాలి అని ఉంటే మనం ఎప్పుడు కిందకి చూస్తూనే ఉంటాం. మనకి పైకి పెరగాలి అంటే మనం ఓపెన్గా ఉండి అందరితోని ఉండాలి. అండ్ మీరే అడిగారు మనకి అక్కడ ఏమైనా ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఉంటాయా ఇండియన్స్కి, హేట్ క్రైమ్ ఏదైనా, అవి మనం మటుకి మనం అందరూ మన వాళ్ళతోనే ఉన్నప్పుడు ఇలాంటి ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ అవ్వడానికి అవకాశం మనమే ఇచ్చుకుంటున్నాం. మనం అందరితో కలిసి ఉంటే ఇలాంటి ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ అస్సలు రావు మనకి.
Srinivasa Chaitanya, can we have your question?
Is there any possibility for the visa officer to deny visa to the applicants if they don't reveal their social media passwords?
So on that topic, basically all I can say is we're not currently asking for that information. Could you be asked for that information at some point? I can't really say. But at the consulate level, we are not going to ask for that information. So it's really not a concern at this point.
My question is, how can we pursue part-time jobs in US? We can avoid from hate crimes. How can we avoid?
So again, this is not really related to me as a visa officer because again, we don't authorize employment in the United States. So this is actually, I'm stepping outside of being a visa officer and I'm talking from the perspective of previously working for a university. But as a general rule, there are opportunities for on-campus employment based on the fact that you're a student and you have an I-20 while you're in the United States. Other types of employment that you've probably all heard about, there's CPT and there's OPT. CPT has to be authorized by basically what I did in the US. The international office in the United States is going to authorize that employment based on whatever you're going to do being related to your curriculum. So it has to be an important part of your curriculum. So it's not to work in a gas station, it's not to work at a random job, but if you're studying computer science and you find an opportunity related to computer science, then your school can authorize that employment for you. And then finally there's OPT, which we've already talked about a little bit. That's generally done at the end of your academic program, and can be 1 year. It's longer, obviously, if you're in a science, technology, engineering, and math program. So at least currently the rule is that you can extend that. But those are the basic rules around employment if you're an F1 student.
Yeah, to continue with that, there is also, you're authorized to work for 20 hours on campus while you are while on a student visa, but you need to be taking up jobs which are again which are on campus, which are authorized by the university. You can't really be taking up jobs which are not authorized on the university. So that's something that you need to be careful about. Now, how does one go about finding these jobs? They are usually advertised. Once you get your student ID, you will also have to the university. You will also have access to a number of listservs and a number of websites where the jobs will be posted. So then you can go ahead and apply for these jobs. You can look in departments outside of your own department also for GA ships and mostly GA ships. RA ships and TA ships are restricted to your own department. But GA ships and sometimes tuition waivers are included as part of jobs on campus. So for example, in the maths department, if you're required to work on their website, depending on the amount of work you're doing for them, they may decide to give you a tuition waiver. So there are these jobs available, and many times it's easier once you get there. But they all need to be within the 20-hour limited time.
యాక్చువల్లీ నేను కాలేజ్లో ఉన్నప్పుడు నేను 20 hours వర్క్ చేశాను ఆన్ క్యాంపస్లో. కంప్యూటర్ ల్యాబ్స్లో నేను స్టూడెంట్స్కి కావాల్సిన హెల్ప్ చేశాను. కానీ ఆన్ క్యాంపస్ జాబ్ గురించి నేను ఏం చెప్దాం అనుకుంటున్నానంటే అది యూజువలీ మినిమం వేజ్ వస్తుంది. స్టేట్ బట్టు మారుతూ ఉంటుంది. యూఎస్లో ఇప్పుడు కరెంట్లీ నాకు తెలిసి $8 to $12 యావరేజ్ స్టేట్ బట్టి మారుతూ ఉంటుంది. యూజువలీ అదైనా వస్తుంది, మీరు కొంచెం కష్టమైన జాబ్స్ చేస్తే కొంచెం ఎక్కువ వస్తుంది. బట్ దానివలన మన ఎక్స్పెన్సెస్ అవుట్ సైడ్ బయట తినడం కానీ అలాంటి వాటికి సరిపోద్ది, కానీ మన ఎడ్యుకేషన్కి పే చేద్దాం అనుకుంటుంటే అది కొంచెం కష్టం అవుతుంది.
యూనివర్సిటీ పర్స్పెక్టివ్ నుంచి నేను చెప్తున్నాను ఏంటంటే, మీరు ఫస్ట్ మీ కోర్స్ వర్క్లో బాగా చేస్తున్నారా లేదా అది చూసుకోవాలి. మీ ధ్యానం అంతా పార్ట్ టైం జాబ్స్ మీద ఉండి మీ కోర్స్ వర్క్ సమంగా మీరు చదువుకోకపోతే, మీ జీపీఏ దెబ్బతింటే అది లాంగ్ టర్మ్లో అది మీకు ప్రాబ్లం అవుతుంది. సో ఈ 20 hours a weekలో మీరు మీ గ్రేడ్స్ పడిపోతుంటే 10 గంటలే పనిచేయండి. 10 గంటల్లో అయినా కానీ మీ గ్రేడ్స్ బాగా లేకపోతే మానేసేయండి. బట్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు రిమెంబర్ యూఆర్ దేర్ టు స్టడీ అండ్ దాట్స్ ద ప్రయారిటీ.
Swapna, can I have the question, please?
I am Swapna, final year engineering student, and in the view of recent news regarding jobs, and I was just wondering if scene might happen in education also, and will there be any reduction in master program admissions?
In our university, we are certainly not planning to reduce the number of master students in the engineering programs. Also, we have career fairs in the fall and the spring. So spring ante around February and fall ante around October. And this is the time students andaru they look, many companies come on campus and the students are looking for jobs. Looking at the number of companies that showed interest in coming to our career fairs, we did not see a downturn. Same thing for the fall of last year also, we did not see a downturn. So for engineering, computer science, the STEM fields, we are not seeing a downturn in the jobs.
My name is Akbam Tassa. I'm an international student from Zimbabwe, Africa. My question is regarding to PhD. Here in this country, you find to say, if you finish your master's degree, apparently I'm doing MSc Biotechnology. Here you have to write a string of other exams and all string of exams before you get enrolled for PhD. Now my question is for us, I'm doing a master's degree here. For me to be enrolled for PhD at a university in the United States, do I have to go through those exams or what do I have to do? Because I'm assuming to say, when I finish this, all right, I'm going to go back to my country and perhaps they would see to say I did my master's degree here at Andhra University. Perhaps would they ask to say, did you do all the necessary exams and things like that? That's my question, that's my concern.
So when we admit students into our PhD programs with an undergraduate degree, it's not necessary for you to have a master's degree, right? So if you were to apply with an undergraduate degree, we are expecting someone with a very high level of academic competence. So that means you have really good, strong GPA. We require the GRE score. We require the TOEFL. So we require all of that. And there will also be a connect with the faculty member that you're working on. We will ask you to write a research plan. So you need to have all this in place to apply for our PhD programs. There are students who apply for the PhD with a master's degree. You do need to have your degree certificate. Otherwise, we will not be able to graduate you from the PhD program. It's in the application process, typically, it takes a very long time to apply. So even if you don't finish your degree, you can apply and might even get admitted. But once you come to our campus, we will ask you to show your degree. And if you don't have it, we might give you a little bit of an extension, but we will not let you graduate unless you have your degree from whichever country.
Can I have Shanmugh, please?
క్వశ్చన్ అనిరుద్ధ్కి, అది మీరు అక్కడికి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు మిమ్మల్ని ఎలా సెలెక్ట్ చేశారు? అంటే జిఆర్ఈ వల్ల ఈ స్కోర్ ఏంటి? అంటే స్కోర్ గురించి కాదు, అలా ఎలా సెలెక్ట్ చేస్తున్నారు? మీరు వెళ్ళినప్పుడు ఎలా సెలెక్ట్ చేశారు?
సో యాక్చువల్లీ నేను అక్కడికి డిగ్రీకి వెళ్ళాను. డిగ్రీకైనా మాస్టర్స్కైనా ఆల్మోస్ట్ సేమ్ ప్రొసీజర్. సో నేను అండర్ గ్రాడ్ విషయంగా చెప్తాను ఏంటంటే, నేను ఎస్ఏటి అని ఎగ్జామ్ రాశాను. మనకి మాస్టర్స్కి జిఆర్ఈ రాస్తాం. అది కాకుండా అన్నిటికంటే ముఖ్యంగా మన పాస్ట్ అకాడమిక్ క్వాలిఫికేషన్స్ చూస్తారు. అంటే మీకైతే డిగ్రీలో ఎన్ని మార్క్స్ వచ్చాయి, ఎలాంటి క్లాసెస్ ఎలాంటి క్లాసెస్ చేశారు చూస్తారు. అది ఫస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. సెకండ్, మన ఎస్ఓపి, స్టేట్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ పర్పస్, అంటే మనం ఏం చేద్దాం అనుకుంటున్నాం, అసలు ఎందుకు చేద్దాం అనుకుంటున్నాం అది చూస్తారు. కానీ అన్నిటికంటే ముఖ్యమైనవి ఇవన్నీ కాకుండా ఆల్సో మనం ఎక్కడన్నా పని చేసామా అది అలాంటి ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ చూస్తారు. ఇది కాకుండా కమ్యూనిటీ సర్వీస్ ఆర్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్, అసోసియేషన్స్, ఏదైనా మనం లీడర్షిప్గా పొజిషన్స్ ఏమైనా చేసామా, అంటే ఇప్పుడు మన కాలేజ్లో చాలా ఇంటాక్ అని ఏదైనా అవుతుండొచ్చు, ఐసెక్ అని చాలా ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్, అలాంటి ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్లో మనం ఏవైనా లీడర్షిప్ పొజిషన్స్ అయినా ఏదైనా అలాంటి క్వాలిఫికేషన్స్ చూపించామా అని చూస్తారు. ఇవన్నీ చూడడం వలన వాళ్ళకి అర్థమవుతుంది మనం అక్కడ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ సిస్టమ్ మనం హ్యాండిల్ చేయగలమా లేదా. ఎందుకంటే నేను అన్నిటికన్నా అమెరికన్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ సిస్టంలో నాకు నచ్చింది ఏంటంటే అక్కడ ఉత్తి చదువు కాకుండా చాలా మిగతా యాక్టివిటీస్ ప్రమోట్ చేస్తారు. ఇప్పుడు మనం మాట్లాడుకున్నట్టే చదువుతున్నప్పుడు జాబ్ చేయడం అది అంత ఈజీ పని కాదు. మేడం చెప్పినట్టు కూడా జాబ్లో పడిపోయి చదువు మర్చిపోదు. ఇలాంటివన్నీ చేయడానికి మన కేపబిలిటీ ఉందా అని చూడడానికి ఇవన్నీ మనల్ని అడుగుతారు. సో మన పాస్ట్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్, మన స్కోర్స్, మన ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్, జాబ్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ ఆర్ లీడర్షిప్ స్కిల్స్ ఇవన్నీ చూస్తాం. సో మనకి మాస్టర్ స్టూడెంట్స్ విధంగా యూజువలీ మోస్ట్ క్యాంపసెస్లో మాస్టర్ స్టూడెంట్స్ హౌసింగ్ అని ఆన్ క్యాంపస్లో ఉంటాయి. అక్కడ ఉంటే మీరు మిగతా మాస్టర్ స్టూడెంట్స్తో కలచ్చు, అవన్నీ చేయడానికి ఆపర్చునిటీస్ ఉంటాయి. అది కాకుండా మనకి ఆఫ్ క్యాంపస్ హౌసింగ్ కూడా ఉండొచ్చు. అది యూజువలీ చాలా మటుకు ఫేస్బుక్ గ్రూప్స్ ద్వారా లేకపోతే మీకు తెలిసిన వాళ్ళు వెళ్తున్న వాళ్ళ ద్వారా. ఈ కాలేజెస్ కూడా మీరు వెళ్ళే ముందు ఒక యాక్సెస్ ఇస్తారు మిగతా స్టూడెంట్స్తో మాట్లాడుకోవడానికి. చాలామంది అక్కడే మాట్లాడుకొని యూనివర్సిటీ చుట్టూరా కూడా ఆఫ్ క్యాంపస్ హౌసింగ్ కూడా ఎతుకుతారు. యూనివర్సిటీస్ కూడా ఆఫ్ క్యాంపస్ హౌసింగ్కి మీకు హెల్ప్ చేస్తారు వెళ్ళే ముందు కూడా.
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
వుడ్ యూ లైక్ టు స్పీక్ ఎనీథింగ్ రిగార్డింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ వాట్ యు ఆర్?
సో మీ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ ఏంటండి?
బీటెక్ ఫైనల్ ఇయర్ సివిల్
కదా. సో I just wanted to say, when we are evaluating a student for admission, we look primarily me coursework, ante me BTech year by year meer em courses chesaru, dantlo elanti GPA ochindi, meeku ఏ percentage ochindi, adi chaala dhyananto మేము చూస్తాం. దాని తర్వాత మీ GRE scores చూస్తాం, మీ పర్సనల్ స్టేట్మెంట్, లెటర్స్ ఆఫ్ రికమెండేషన్ అలాంటివన్నీ చూస్తాం. We are not, at least for the engineering area, and most of the engineering schools, they don't really look for a well-rounded student. That is true of maybe the MBA programs, maybe of the undergraduate programs, but graduate programs in engineering law, we really want someone who has a good, strong academic background and who's able to come to the US and do well in our courses. So me coursework, మీ GPA ఇది చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. సో థర్డ్ ఇయర్లో ఉన్న వాళ్ళు ఎవరన్నా ఇక్కడ ఉంటే మీ GPAని అశ్రద్ధ చెయ్యొద్దు. బ్యాక్లాగ్స్ అలాంటివి ఉంటే అంత మంచిది కాదు. సో వర్క్ హార్డ్ అండ్ డూ రియలీ వెల్ academically.
There are some schools which don't ask for a GRE but ask for only TOEFL or an IELTS score, and I'm sure you all are all aware of that. GRE is basically a test to see how you will be able to manage the graduate level education that is given out at the universities. And IELTS and TOEFL is only a test of English as a foreign language. So that only tests you to see if you can understand the English being spoken. So just understand the differences and see that those, additional to what she said, the GRE scores, some schools don't ask for a GRE score, your TOEFL marks, your GPAs, and also internships and other activities that you've been doing which are academic in nature towards a degree. That would be very valuable to have on your resume.
Thank you.
How can we get a financial aid or scholarship to study in US? And actually I'm doing my masters, and I heard masters in business is very costly in US. Now can you get financial help in this regard? And one more addition to this, see, there are some universities which are having some problem after getting over there. Sir, as a US Consulate officer, can you suggest us if there is any opportunity to go on visiting visa and see the university and check the facilities and then choose the university? Is there any facility is being provided through US Consulate? Thank you, sir.
So, yeah, let me do the part that you asked first. One easy way of finding out whether a school is accredited or not is by going to a website called CHEA, CHEA.org. That's the Council for Higher Education and Accreditation. You must check for accreditation of your particular course and of the university. And that's an easy way of finding out whether this course is and this particular program in this particular university is accredited or not. And accredited makes all the difference. You know that. We have AICTE and UGC doing similar things in India, right? So you need accredited universities before you apply to them. The other thing is with the other question you asked was financial aid. So, well, to tell you the truth, MBA, it's first very competitive to get financial aid on university in American universities, and MBA typically is not a very highly funded area of study. You typically don't have the large-scale TAs and RAs that are available in engineering schools. In an MBA school, the kind of funding is not available.
So, on visiting universities in the U.S., it is certainly possible to apply for a visitor visa in order for that purpose, for tourism, for many purposes, in order to actually visit a university. All of the same standards apply, so you're going to have to convince a visa officer that your plan is to go and visit universities, whatever else you might do, and then you're going to be coming back to India before you start your studies. It makes it a little bit more complicated in the situation where you say you're going to visit schools, because we really do have to be convinced, okay, that's the purpose of the travel. This person's not simply looking for an easier way to try to switch to the F1 visa, but it is possible to do. You just have to convince the visa officer that is what your intent is. I think you also asked about whether there are programs in order to do that, and there are no programs I'm aware of where the consulate actually facilitates people to go and visit a university.
Yeah, good afternoon, one and all. My question is about Silicon Valley. Actually, we are working on startups. So, we all know that American citizens get advantage in Silicon Valley. They will get places to work over there. I mean, for their startups, for their own startups. As an Indian, like if we go there and we apply for any places over there, do we get any places?
So I'll just also generalize that question in terms of what are the benefits or opportunities for entrepreneurship in universities. That could be also answered there.
Okay. So again, I work for the University of Southern California. Southern California ante maadi Los Angeles anamata. So Los Angeles దగ్గర San Diego undi. Los Angeles lo chala tech companies unnai, and Silicon Valley has a lot of tech jobs. మీరు సిలికాన్ వ్యాలీకి వెళ్తే చాలా మంది immigrants ఉంటారు. You will see a lot of Chinese, you will see a lot of Indians. Many of the startups are run by Indians also. So Americansకే startup opportunities దొరుకుతాయి అలాంటిది అనుకోవటం తప్పు. Okay, Indians కూడా equal opportunity. You need to be good. If you have the capability, there are a lot of opportunities. My university lo we have a lot of importance on entrepreneurship. So rakarakala program nunnai where we network. We allow you to network with mentors who are entrepreneurs. Maku, there's a competition that we have. If you have a great idea and you want to bring it to the marketplace, there's a competition, and if you win it, we will pay you $50,000 to start your company. So alanti opportunities kuda chala unnai annamata. So Silicon Valley ki it's not necessary that you just have to be a US citizen.
I did want to add that America is a country of immigrants, and the immigrants have always been, accepted and invited and, celebrated in America. So the Silicon Valley is a really good example of where there are a lot of immigrants and a lot of immigrants doing very hard and good work. So there is I don't think you should feel that there is any discrimination between you and any other immigrant from any other country.
How to increase the success rate when I apply for let's say, when I make an application to US university, how to improve the success rate?
Right. So, Miku, if you want, at the master's level, okay. So, master's level ki, undergraduate level ki applications very ga untai. The criteria different ga untai anamata. Master's level lo, especially meedenti engineering, okay. engineering lo meeru, if you want to succeed in getting into a good program in the US, meeru first మీ undergraduate studies బాగా చేసుకోవాలి. అన్ని సెమిస్టర్స్లోనూ మంచి గ్రేడ్స్ రావాలి. దాని తర్వాత GRE రాయాలి, అది బాగా చేయాలి. అది కాక మంచి లెటర్స్ ఆఫ్ రికమెండేషన్స్ రాయాలి. అండ్ ఆల్సో మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్లీ మీరు జాగ్రత్తగా చూసుకోవాలి ఏ యూనివర్సిటీకి మీరు అప్లై చేస్తున్నారో అది మీ గోల్స్కి సరిపోతుందా లేదా అని. సపోజింగ్ మీరు ఆటోమొబైల్ ఇంజనీరింగ్లో ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఉందనుకోండి, యూ కెనాట్ గో అండ్ అప్లై టు ఎ యూనివర్సిటీ వేర్ ఆటోమొబైల్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ లేనే లేదు, అలాంటి యూనివర్సిటీ కాదు. సో మీరు రీసెర్చ్ చేయండి. అన్ని యూనివర్సిటీస్కి చాలా మంచి వెబ్సైట్స్ ఉంటాయి. సో చాలా రీసెర్చ్ చేసి డెడ్ లైన్స్ ఏంటి, సో అప్లై వెల్ అహెడ్ ఆఫ్ ద డెడ్ లైన్. లాస్ట్ మినిట్గా మీరు అప్లికేషన్ సబ్మిట్ చేయొద్దు. మీరు లెటర్స్ ఆఫ్ రికమెండేషన్లో మీ ప్రొఫెసర్సు మీ గురించి వాట్ ఈస్ స్పెషల్ అబౌట్ యూ అంటే ఒక లెటర్ విచ్ సెస్ సో అండ్ సో ఇస్ అ స్టూడెంట్ ఆఫ్ గుడ్ స్టాండింగ్ ఇన్ మై యూనివర్సిటీ, అలాంటి ఉత్తరం మీ వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ రాశారనుకోండి, దానికి అంత వాల్యూ ఉండదు. కానీ ఒక ప్రొఫెసర్ ఆర్ అ లెక్చరర్ who writes talking about you and says this person really stands out because he asks good questions, ఆయన రాసిన రిపోర్ట్ చాలా బాగుంది, he's consistently good in all the exams, ఏదో అలాగా రాస్తే అవి those are valuable mark అన్నమాట. పర్సనల్ స్టేట్మెంట్ అని ఒకటి ఉంటుంది, అది చాలా జాగ్రత్తగా మీరు రాయాలి.
I just want to add from a visa perspective as well, if you do your work now, you will be better prepared when you apply for a visa. It's not only the application process of getting in the schools, but I see many students per day that I interview, and I can definitely tell the students who have put a lot of thought into these things, the ones that have really thought about why do they want to study in the US, what do they want to study, did they work hard on their senior project. Sometimes I ask about that, and if a student is able to give a really good and interesting answer to that question, that can be great. Then you know the student both knows the field, is very interested in what they want to do in the United States. If you don't do that work now in your third and fourth years, then these interviews are very short. Like, I have to be honest, these are 2 or 3 minutes, but you'd still be surprised at kind of how much information the officer can ask you in that short a period of time. And if you're able to give really good and concise answers to those questions, and it sounds like you know what you're talking about, then that's not only going to help you get into the university, but it's going to help you with your...
ఇందాక చాలామంది స్టూడెంట్స్ అడిగినట్టుగా మాకు స్కాలర్షిప్స్ ఎలా వస్తాయి, ఎలా తెచ్చుకోవచ్చు, ఎక్కువ అంటే అడ్మిషన్ రేట్ పెంచుకోవడానికి ఎట్లా ఏం చేయాలి అన్నప్పుడు రీసెర్చ్ గురించి మాట్లాడుకున్నాం. ఆ రీసెర్చ్ మనం చేస్తున్న వర్క్ కానీ మనం చదువుకున్న సబ్జెక్ట్స్ గురించి కానీ అక్కడ మనం వెళ్ళబోయే యూనివర్సిటీలో ఎవరైనా ప్రొఫెసర్ గారికి సేమ్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ కనుక ఉంటే ముందే ఒక ఈమెయిల్ ద్వారా కానీ మిమ్మల్ని పరిచయం చేసుకుంటూ మీ వర్క్ గురించి మాట్లాడండి, అది ఉపయోగపడుతుంది అని చెప్తున్నారు. Well, in the interest of time, we'll take 2 last questions, please. Yeah, one here and one there. Okay, start here.
Will there be any cultural discrimination there in the job fields? ఒకవేళ నేను ఇంకొక లోకల్ అమెరికాలోనే యుఎస్లో ఎక్కడైనా లోకల్ విద్యార్థి చదువుతూ ఉద్యోగం వెళ్ళినప్పుడు ఇంటర్వ్యూ ఫేస్ చేసినప్పుడు నాకు ఇంకొక వ్యక్తికి ప్రయారిటీ అనేది మారుతుందా? నేను ఇండియన్ని ఇక్కడ తక్కువ ప్రయారిటీ ఇచ్చి యూఎస్లో చదువుతున్న వారికి ఎక్కువ ప్రయారిటీ ఇవ్వడం అలాంటిది ఏమైనా జరుగుతూ ఉంటుంది అక్కడ?
There are some companies వాళ్ళ funding if it comes from the federal government. Supposing you're an aerospace engineer and you want to work in Boeing or NASA. So they will not hire a international student, right? Those jobs are meant for domestic students only. వాళ్ళ టేబుల్ మీద కూడా క్లియర్గా మెన్షన్ చేసి ఉంటుంది దట్ ఈస్ ఫర్ డొమెస్టిక్. సో ఇట్స్ నాట్ డిస్క్రిమినేషన్ బట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ గైడ్ లైన్స్ దట్ దే హ్యావ్ రిసీవ్డ్ because they get funding from the federal government. When it comes to private companies they are looking for at the bottom line always, right? They are looking for the best applicant who will come and do well in their job. So cultural differences they will not take into consideration. The consideration is always going to be how well prepared are you for the job and how well will you do once you come into the company.
And ఇంకోటి చాలా మటుకు మీరు ఇంటర్వ్యూస్కి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు కూడా అప్పుడప్పుడు మీరు ఇంటర్నేషనల్ స్టూడెంటా అని అడిగినప్పుడు మనకు చెప్పడానికి ఏంటంటే మీరు చాలా మటుకు స్టెమ్ వీసా అని ఉంటుంది. స్టెమ్ అంటే సైన్స్, టెక్నాలజీ, మ్యాథమెటిక్స్, ఇంజనీరింగ్. అవి చేసినప్పుడు మీకు కాలేజ్ అయిన తర్వాత 3 సంవత్సరాలు అక్కడ పని చేయొచ్చు. ఏది అడిషనల్ స్పాన్సర్షిప్ ఆర్ H1 అవి అప్లై చేయకుండా అది మీరు చెప్పొచ్చు. ఎందుకంటే అక్కడ చాలా కంపెనీస్, చిన్న కంపెనీస్ ఉంటాయి, వాళ్ళకి ఇవి తెలియదు. సో అది మీ దగ్గర నుంచి మీరు కూడా వాళ్ళకి చెప్తే అది బెనిఫిట్ అవుతుంది. అండ్ ఎలాంటి ఆపర్చునిటీస్ తీసుకోవాలి. స్టెమ్ వీసా అనేది 3 years వస్తుంది.
Okay, so in the interest of time, I'll have to really, though there is a lot more interest here, I'll have to stop the questions here. Sorry, William, would you like to add anything to the previous one? Sorry.
I'll just do a quick add-on. So whatever you decide to do, if you were going to do a second master's program in the U.S., you really do, especially in that situation, you need to really think about why you're getting that second master's degree. Because if I'm talking to somebody and I'm saying, okay, you already have what is a terminal degree, you have your MBA, now you're looking to do an MBA in the U.S., why are you doing that? Or why are you doing this master's degree in computer science or whatever the field is? So if you have a very good response to that question, then it can make sense. But if you don't have a reason that you can give for why you want a second master's degree, that can sometimes be a problem.
ఈ చర్చకు విచ్చేసి ఇక్కడ నీ సందేహాలకు మనకి ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఇచ్చినందుకు ప్యానలిస్ట్ అందరికీ కూడా హృదయపూర్వకంగా ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియజేసుకుంటున్నాను. అదేవిధంగా ఇక్కడికి విచ్చేసిన స్టూడెంట్స్ అందరికీ కూడాను చాలా యాక్టివ్గా పార్టిసిపేట్ చేసి క్వశ్చన్స్ అడిగారు. అందరికీ కూడా ఈటీవీ తరపున, ఆంధ్ర యూనివర్సిటీ తరపున, అందరి తరపున కూడా ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియజేసుకున్నాను. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్.